Our faces are live. Well, woo. Who? And hold on. Fucking, why does OBS want to do that all the time?
Is OBS messing up again where you can't hear me?
Well, I saw it that time, so start over.
Okay. So the people on the stream heard it, but the recording didn't hear it? Or
The
did the
people,
people
the
not
people
hear
on
it
the
either?
stream did not hear it either. So,
Okay. All right. So, hello, good people. I am Scarfinger. This is Scarcasm. Woohoo.
he is Scar, I'm Chasm, and we're here.
You're a chasm.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to be a chasm.
Isn't that just like a big gaping hole?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you don't want to be a big game at all. So Chase is in the building, and yeah,
Sure.
I don't have like an extreme amount of things to talk about. Like my last 2 weeks have been kind of slow, and like there's not really a whole lot going on. It's not like I played a bunch of stuff, because as most people know, who longtime listeners of the show, this is around the time where I become full time dad again. So
That's why you need to get on your PC, and they're easy to run, and get you a bunch of like local co-op games. Like and they're real easy to run because they're like mostly indie games, like beat 'em ups and stuff. You know, just like.
no, she absolutely does not like the same kind of games I like.
Well, you don't like
Like,
beat 'em ups either. You're coming together. You know.
nah, I think I'm telling you, like she does. I mean, we are completely different people when it comes to actually playing video games. The only thing we agree on is Mass Effect, but she likes to. She doesn't like the combat as much as she likes the rest of Mass Effect. The exploration and talking to people and shit like that. Like that's the part she cares about.
Right.
Um, and I care about the combat. Like I want to fuck some people up too. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so it's like a big. So I mean I think that's the difference between me and her. She likes stuff like Stardew Valley and The Sims and for a certain extent Minecraft and things of that nature, and she also likes playing the Life is Stranges and the Telltale type games and things of that nature, to where I would play one of those games once and then never touch it again.
Right. And that's pretty much. I really like those games, but I don't think I've played one twice. I may,
Exactly.
I may, I may at some point play the first Life is Strange again, just because it's been 5 years, and it'd be kind of cool to see if I remember everything. But but yeah.
Yeah, it's not something that it's not really a thing that I really want to do. And like she wants me to buy The Quarry, which is another one of those type games where you make decisions and
Well,
shit like that.
that's like um that game on PlayStation.
Yeah. And
But that's a very
I
good because I think with their sense of how they realized how people were playing Until Dawn. That's it. How people were playing Until Dawn. They were like, we need to make that a feature. So in their other games, they did like these episodic games called Dark Pictures, I think it's called. Like the first was Man and Medan, and it has a mode to where it will prompt you to give the controller to somebody else. So it actually like encourages you to pass the controller around.
yeah, I just don't care. And then also like the fact that it's a new game.
Yeah. which is
And
so
we
$60.
yeah, we spoken at length about my financial issues. I'm not in a rush. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, nah, dog. I'm not in a rush at all. Now, I will say that, at some point I'll try to do it because, she's done really well in school this year, and you should try to do something to, something she wants to kind of celebrate that and reward her for doing well in school. But like $60, bro. When I game pass everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't even done the Steam sale. And your man Blue hit me up for the Steam sale. It was like, yo, dog, tell me what you need. I got
Huh.
you. And then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna look and see what I can see what's popping for the Steam sale. And I never even got around to that. I even stopped Steam from working in the background of my PC.
Wow.
I rarely use my PC, so like I typically only use my PC to record.
Right. You couldn't find the
It's
Wise brands? No.
huh?
No, she got the Funyuns, but like, I had found something that I haven't had since I was a kid, which is the Wise brand onion rings, and they're smaller and not as crunchy
The,
as Funyuns,
the,
but they have a lot more flavor. They're so
the
good.
thin one. They're so thin though.
They're thin, but man, do they have a like. This is like sawdust compared to Wise brand, man.
Okay, all right, I'm cool. It's like what I mean, I stopped eating Funyuns when I stopped getting high
Which was like
in
once.
in high school. Like what I mean, like. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a time where I think about Funyuns ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've never,
Do
and I used to.
I will forever eat like a stoner. It's just how it's gonna be.
Wow. Speaking of eating like a stoner, my daughter and I, well, basically her, I kind of walked her through it. We made slutty brownies yesterday, and they are great.
Oh yeah.
I've had two.
Hmm.
Have you ever had slutty brownies?
No.
Some people call them better than sex brownies, but basically what you do is, the cookie dough that you buy in the little roll.
Yeah.
You take one of those and you press it in the bottom of a 13 by 9 pan, or you can do half of it, depending on how you want this to go.
Okay.
So you take one of those and you press it into a what we did is press it into a 13 by 9 pan. Then you take Oreos and line them all across the top of that.
Hmm.
Then you make a brownie mix and pour it over the Oreos and you bake the whole thing. So it's chocolate chip cookies, Oreos, and brownies all in one delectable dessert.
Yeah, that's crazy. And how many times have you looked at like gourmet burgers, like at like a steakhouse or like Red Robin or like any place that has like kind of not your average burger? How many of those do you think that were came up with by a chef who was smoking, being like, dude, I want a burger and I want a
I
whole
mean,
ass pickle on this thing, and I
no,
want onion rings and
no, I'm gonna tell you the
avocados.
one. I'm gonna tell you the one. Did y'all ever have a Bennigan's?
I've never even heard of Bennigan's.
Okay, so we used to have a Bennigan's, um, and I thought Bennigan's was a chain, but I mean, I'm guessing it was in some places and it wasn't in other places. But Bennigan's used to have this hamburger, right? And this is definitely something that people thought of when they were high as fuck. Bennigan's had a hamburger that had a patty-sized mozzarella stick on top. It was a large, round, almost the same size as the hamburger patty mozzarella stick sitting on top of the
Wow.
hamburger.
I've seen that you can put mozzarella sticks on your burgers at like sheets and stuff, but not one that's like shaped like a burger.
No, no, no. This was actually is like a round, big ass round mozzarella stick, and you just put it on top of your hamburger. That is definitely something that someone thought of when they were high as fuck.
Yeah, because it's like all we want this mozzarella stick to get all this real estate, man. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. We want you to have all the mozzarella stick, and that burger was fantastic,
Oh yeah.
absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, that's definitely something that somebody thought of when they were high as fuck. And like other stuff when you get like a barbecue, like a barbecue burger and stuff like that, and they put like the onion straws and stuff like that, and it's basically somebody just decided to put some Funyuns on top of the fucking hamburger. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
I mean, they're like wise Funyuns. They're all like thin. You know what I mean? Like fucking, they're wise Funyuns. That's fucked up. You know, we don't even call them like wise onion rings. We call them wise Funyuns.
Well, I don't because I pretty much grew up on Wise Brand and Tom's and stuff. Like to me, like cheese doodles are more of the name brand than Cheetos because that's what I grew up on.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, we pretty much call all of those, whether it's the crunchy ones or the puff ones, they all cheese doodles to us.
Right, and I looked it up. I was like, is Wise everywhere? Or is that just right here? But it is East Coast. So if you're in like California, they're like Wise brand. What are they talking about? But
Right. But yeah, I used to fuck with Wise a lot, and when I was a kid, for some reason, I used to like the salt and vinegar. I don't know what it was about
I
being a kid. I can't stand the smell of them shits now. But when I was a kid, I used to fuck up some salt and vinegar
I
chips, dog.
I like some salt and vinegar, but it's a thing to where it's got to be in. I can't just eat a whole bag or nothing. You know what I mean? Or I'd be like sitting there, like my lips are like I just had them in a bathtub too long. I'm like just took all the moisture out.
Yeah, your lips, like you finish eating them shits and your lips are like broken glass. It's like, what the fuck happened to my lips? I was just salt and fucking vinegar chips. Um, but yeah, man, I don't, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head where it sounds like somebody came up with when they were high. Um, Definitely flaming hot Doritos. Flaming hot Doritos. Someone said,
it
"What if, what if we take the flaming?"
definitely if anything that has French fries on it is automatic. Because I mean I don't really fuck with the French fries on like a burger, but I
I don't
think
think I've
that
ever really done that.
I think if there's a burger that comes with French fries, that it goes towards stoner. Because you're
Okay,
like, I want to eat this whole thing, but I want to just like eat it as utilitarian as possible. You know what I mean?
right. And like the various. I think okay. Follow me on this. Wraps are basically stoner food.
Yeah.
It's like I want to take this thing that is not a burrito and basically make it a burrito.
Right.
That sounds like something fucking stoner to me.
Yeah, it's basically a burrito without the rice and shit, right?
Yeah, I mean they love burritos, right? But like I think wraps are like, you know what I mean? You know what I used to buy?
Or a
Okay,
wrap is like a burrito, but you stop halfway and be like, I'm gonna wrap this thing. Just forget up at the other end. We're gonna eat that
remember,
anyway.
remember when Subway used to do wraps for everything? Like you can get any sandwich, but in a wrap form. All right, this is years ago. So like this went when my daughter was a baby, like a baby, and this is before she came home. This is before she came home. Because my daughter was born prematurely, and she was in the hospital for 2 months. There was a Subway in the lower level of the hospital, basically like the basement level. There was a Subway there. And I used to get a meatball sub and a wrap all the fucking time. Now, check this. Now, it's something about the wrap that immediately makes you feel better about eating a meatball sandwich. You know what I mean? Because it's not in that all that bread or whatever like that, and it's not as sloppy. So you instantly feel like this might be healthier than the bread alternative.
Well, I mean, it has been proven that fat doesn't make you fat. It's the sugar, and bread is basically, you know, sugar that ain't sweet. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's all carbs. All carbs.
So,
But yeah, I am. I used to do that all the time when my daughter was in the hospital because sometimes I would get there late. Even though like one of the places that I worked with was really right around the corner from the hospital.
hmm
Didn't take me long to get there at all. But of course, I got out of work at 6 o'clock, and then at 7 o'clock is when they had to switch over for the nurses. So if I got out of work late, then I might be able to go in for like a couple of minutes, but then I had to leave for the nurse switch over, and then I had to wait for them to switch over for me to go back and see my child. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things where I'll just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to the basement and get me a wrap. But it was a fucking meatball wrap, and now I feel like like how as a fat person I justify some things that I eat.
hmm
Like I used to eat a lot of Chinese food because Chinese food has vegetables and shit, and it makes me feel better about being fat. You know what I mean? Because there's vegetables and shit in this. You know what I mean? Like I didn't go get a hamburger. I went and got some vegetables and some shit and some meat and some rice, and you know what I mean? Like I did some things to make myself better because I got Chinese food instead of going to get that hamburger. And I really convinced myself that I was doing something better than what I would normally do for lunch. And I used to go to the Chinese place all the time. Like they knew me. Like I call my order in and they're like, Mike, yep, that's me.
what
But I had but
was your
I
go-to?
grew up.
What was your
I
go-to?
grew up. I have three or four. I have four different things that I order and I rotate them.
Okay.
So I do the boneless ribs. Boneless ribs is my absolute favorite. Boneless ribs, lunch special, with pork fried rice. You know what I mean? Gotta get some pork fried rice, gotta get some pork in
Yeah.
your fried rice. The sweet and sour chicken.
Okay.
And one thing about the sweet and sour chicken that makes you feel like you just did something special is because it costs the same as all the rest of it. But remember, they give you that big ass thing of sweet and sour sauce that's separate from that. So it makes you feel like you got more food for the same price.
Even though that's just your sauce.
Exactly. So sweet and sour chicken, and then the chicken teriyaki with pork fried rice.
Okay.
And then all this with pork fried rice.
Yeah.
Including for some reason this shit just really works. Some shrimp egg foo young with pork fried rice. So you got the shrimp and the pork in there once you mix everything up.
Yeah.
Man, listen, that shit good as a motherfucker to me. Like, but like you gotta have a little bit of patience for egg foo young though. If you eating it at work, you got to have a little bit of patience because you got to clear a little bit so that you can get that gravy in there so you can get it all mixed up right.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean? If you're at home, you just throw all that shit in a decent sized bowl, mix it all up, and you good. But if you at work, you got to clear something out, so you got to clear some space out.
Yeah. I would like. Yeah, they can pack a to-go box. I mean, that's another thing. We're going to take up all this real estate.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's packed into the lid where the lid goes. Like, how do they do that?
Exactly.
But yeah, one of my go-tos is General Tso because I like a little spice. Um,
Yeah.
Sweet and sour chicken sometimes, but to me, sweet and sour chicken is like glorified chicken nuggets. You know what I mean? But the I've definitely got away from like beef things because pretty much everything at, I mean, I definitely go beef in most things, but at the Chinese place they've got really bad about it being like kind of slimy and just not good.
Yeah, I don't do the beef unless I get a house special fried rice.
Hmm.
Where it got, where the house special, they throw a little something of everything in there.
Yeah, but the I can do pork fried rice just by itself. But if I go to the Japanese
Now,
place, I can get that beef because that's just like straight up steak cut up. You know what I mean?
right.
You know,
Yeah, it's different. It's different at the Chinese joint. You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's real different at the Chinese joint. But yeah, those are basically my go tos. Like I might switch it up every now and then, but it's really rare for me to switch it up, especially with the main one that I go to. If I go to a different Chinese joint, then I might have a different order that might be a little bit different than what the other one is. But see, here's the thing: the other Chinese joint that I really like going to, their egg rolls ain't got no meat in it. So like you just eating an egg roll with just cabbage, like
Well,
or
that's a
whatever the
spring
fuck.
roll, right?
Not it's a regular fucking egg roll. It got the egg roll texture because spring rolls usually got that little bit of a softer
So
texture.
so they're
They're not
putting
crunchy.
so they're
They're not
making
crunchy.
so they're making a spring roll but frying it. What's the point in that?
Yeah, their egg rolls ain't got no meat in it, and I'm just like, bruh, I didn't pay you all this money to get an egg roll with no fucking meat in it. It's all bullshit. It's some straight bullshit, homie. So like, and so there's other things that I order at other places, but yeah, I'm about that life. I used to be about that Chinese food life. I would eat Chinese food like at least 3 times a week before I moved. Before
Hmm.
I moved, before I moved on my own, I used to eat Chinese food at least 3 times a week because it made
Well,
me feel better about being fat.
dude, when I worked at the office, I got Grubhub so much. They
I you know what? I like stuff like that, but like when you realize that like you just paid $20 for something that you would normally pay
Well,
70 for.
I got their membership when I was working up there, so I got that thing waived, but I was paying monthly. You know what I mean? But like, so I got one free meal a month that's worth $10. So, but
Oh, that's nice.
the but here, like at home, it's not that worth it. Because what can I order? McDonald's, like I mean, but up there they had because they were around Cary, which is kind of the more richer area. You know, they had Greek places, they had like crazy like burgers. You know what I mean. So there's all kinds of just like different things to get. Just like straight up good shit, and and plus I just wasn't in a position to just like leave work, so I would just do that all the time.
These days, I leave work just because I need a break from these people for a few minutes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, most days, I don't necessarily need to leave work to go to lunch. I leave because I need to be able to be without y'all for at least a few minutes in the middle of this day.
But your job isn't watching them and making sure they're not hitting people. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, my job is a little bit different, but like, you know what? There may be some hitting involved. My coworkers are the quirkiest bunch of individuals ever. Um, and that's all I have to say about that.
Well, it seems like you talk a lot of shit about them, but it seems like you at the deep down you really like your coworkers.
I don't. I well, deep down, I don't hate or really dislike most people. Like there's a very small group of people I dislike. That number is very small. I'm really a live and let live type of dude. You know what I mean? Like you do you, dog. Like that's kind of how I that's kind of how I live my life. You do you, dog. I'll be over here doing me. That's kind of how I feel. That's kind of what, like, I haven't spoke much on social media about this because everybody keeps waxing philosophical about this. But the overturning of Roe Wade um, is kind of disheartening to me. And I'm not one of those doom and gloom, like we're all fucked type of people. But I'm just like, yo, dog, it ain't my business. You know what I mean? Like, it's really not my business what you do. Like, I totally feel that I totally feel that in my heart. I don't think it's my business to care about what you do with your body. I just it ain't got nothing to do with me, and that comes down to the issue with gay people and all this kind of stuff. Like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. You know, you do you, dog.
Right.
I just don't. You know what I mean? Like, because there's a lot of conservatives that really get all up in their feelings about this shit, and it's just like, that shit ain't got nothing to do with me, dog. Like, and then you think about it, and like, when it comes to the issue of abortion, and I know that this is a polarizing issue with most people, so I'm gonna say what I've always said. I lost 3 kids before I had my daughter. So abortion is not something that I would choose for me because I know what losing kids is. I know what losing kids does to people. Now, I don't know it from the perspective of having personally lost a child, but like, I've been the partner of someone who's lost 3,
Right.
including one that was in the womb for 6 months before something happened to him. So, you know what I mean? I know what it's like to be on the outside having to support someone going through this.
Right.
So I would never choose that for myself. It's just not something that I want to do. Like, if I decide I want to have kids, but you know what? Let's do this. I'm down for it. And you know what? My daughter came, and you know, my ex-wife um had a situation to whereas she had to get plugged up. She couldn't have no more kids because if she get pregnant again, it might do some real damage to her body. So I'm completely you know, for so I'm completely on the other side of this issue. But if my ex-wife wasn't plugged up, I would totally be for the issue because they told her if she ever got pregnant again, it could kill her. So if they didn't do the thing to plug her up and to make sure that she wasn't able to have kids anymore, I would be concerned about her getting pregnant. And then we would have to do something about that. And you know, if we slipped up and she got pregnant, then like abortion is really on the table in order to save her life.
Yeah.
So that's why I always said, like, it's not something that I would choose for me. But I can't tell you what to do with you. It's not up for me, and it doesn't matter what your reasons are. It doesn't matter what your reasons are. If you don't feel like if you don't feel up to taking care of this child, you don't have to, sweetie. It's really that simple for me. Do you, dog? Like, if you do something like this, like, you are the one that has to live with the fact that you did this. You know,
Yeah.
like, if there's any part of you that cares in this manner, you have to live with this. And I you know that it's not for me to judge. It's not for me to condemn. If it's somebody that I know and somebody that I care about, it's from I support you with whatever decision that you make. Um, and that's my end of it. That's where it stops for me.
Yeah.
That's exactly where it stops for me. It goes no further than that for me. But I understand the people who say that's not where it stops for me. And I'm sorry the people who talk about their religion and all of that kind of stuff and like being Christians and all of that kind of stuff. That's real cool. But here's the thing about this country. I have the right to believe whatever I want to, and I'm not a Christian. So why would you try to force your Christian values on me?
Yeah.
I don't stand in the way of you doing whatever it is you do. If believing in God makes you feel better about yourself and your circumstances and your life, do you, dog? Don't force me. Don't force me. There's supposed to be a separation here, right?
Yeah.
Don't force me. Like, don't force me to have to live like you
Well,
because I don't want to live like
isn't this what all this stuff from a couple of years ago was all about? You know what I mean?
you. Yeah. I mean, all of this stuff is just stupid. And the crazy part about it is, I've said this before on the show. What
Sup,
makes
Blue?
the what's up, dog? What makes the what makes all of this worse, like overturning Roe Wade and all that kind of stuff? What makes it worse is like the people who are the most happy about this are not pro-life. They are not. You are not pro-life. You are pro-birth. Because once those kids are born, you don't support anything that the government would need to do to help take care of those kids, including you don't support them not getting shot the fuck up while they're in school.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't support all of the things that it would take to keep them alive, even from crazy people with guns. You don't support none of this shit. You are not pro-life. You're pro-birth. Just say that. You don't you act funny when you talk about people who are on welfare or getting some sort of government assistance. You don't want people to have you don't want people to have the you don't want people to have adequate medical care. You did not want a single payer when we actually had affordable health care. You didn't want a single payer where the government would take care of it all and it would be subsidized just like we do all of the other, civilized countries what healthcare actually do. You don't support any of this. You don't support anything. You don't support anything that people who are struggling would need to keep these children alive. You just want them to be born. That's it. You just want them to be born. And that's not good enough. Like if and the crazy part about it is and my man Rod from the Black Guy Who Tipped, shout out to Rod. He posted something that made me really think of this. The country who is having a problem keeping baby formula on the shelves just told us that you have to have more babies.
Right.
Like we are having people are reaching out to their Facebook friends and stuff like that for people to look for certain baby formulas and stuff that they need, because it's not available in their area. And let's be honest, like people blame Biden about all of this shit, but like let's be honest, like the problem that we're having with baby formula, it was Trump's fault. um Now, I'm not saying that all of it is Trump's fault, but the baby formula 100% is. Um, so like, so like, we can't keep baby formula on the shelves, and now they're saying, "Well, you need to have these babies, or do something illegal and very fucking dangerous." Is that what we've come to?
I don't know.
It just sucks, and I felt the need to speak on that. I know. Generally, we don't speak on things like this. We generally don't speak on things like this, but like I just felt the need. I felt the need to say something. But let's be honest about this. This is the same thing I've been saying. except for the whole thing about the formula stuff.
Yeah.
So I I hate that it seems like we are regressing as a country. Like I 100% wish that we could be progressive. And I know some people are afraid of the word progressive and what that may mean however that term means to you. Because I think that different people have different versions of what being progressive means. And there's a lot of people who are worried about us progressing as a society. But like we can't we can't have a society where we care more about children being born than taking care of our most vulnerable citizens. Because we don't take care of our most vulnerable citizens. We send them to school where the staffs are underpaid, understaffed, and we expect them to do a spectacular job. Then get mad at them when they don't want to step in front of a bullet of a madman to protect those kids.
Right.
I don't know. Okay, I'm going too far. You say I don't mind the progression, but by what standard is our progress measured? I think that's the problem. I think the progression is different for everyone. So like the only way to have a consensus on what progression in our society means is the way that it's been working so far. It's really dictated by the government, and this seems like a regression. Um, by this seems like a regression. Like just like the idea that they couldn't turn this into a law years ago, which they tried, and like no one wants to be the one to actually say like this should be a law, this should be protected. You know what I mean? Like this should be protected. Like maybe we need to make sure that like we can't just roll this shit back whenever the fuck we want to, like what just happened.
Right.
And the worst part about it is like the people who are making these decisions about other people's reproductive, like women's reproductive, women's reproduction, right? They're either men or women too old to reproduce. These are the people who are making this decision for everyone else. And now it's up to the states, and I'm pretty sure that these state supreme courts are the same thing, mostly made up of dudes and women who are beyond their reproductive years. And these are the people who are making the decisions for everyone. I think we need to government of all levels. And hear me when I say this. Government of all levels needs term limits. Needs term limits. In no other workplace in this country do we take the word of the 70-year-old on the fucking staff. The
Right.
70, in no other workplace in this country do we listen to the 70-year-old, except in government. Government is the only place where late 60s and 70-year-olds and higher are making
I mean, how
decisions.
many places have you been to where like the highest management is like a 21-year-old that's like super just it just happens to be he just happens to be a really good leader or she,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? But
So
they
there,
are younger than pretty much everybody that works there.
Well, let me read what Blue said. So the court's opinion states that abortion is a moral issue, not a legal one. Keep that in mind. The states that retain control, the states retain control. I get that. California, Connecticut, New York, and others still allow the procedure. Virginia does also, but to a certain extent.
Not Texas.
Of course, not Texas. Texas.
Well, ain't Texas like all like started to do like a new thing? Well, it's not a new thing, but they're really like pushing it now, which is succession.
Yeah. I mean,
But you know
that's been a
if
thing for
I
that's been
know
a thing for was it's not Rhode Island, is it Connecticut or one of those that said that they want to also they want to secede from the union. You said, do you know that many late 60s and 70-year-olds sit on boards of directors of these extremely wealthy and profitable companies? Yeah, and we should like they're sitting on the board. Like these people are just on the board. They're not actually like working. I mean, they're making decisions for people in that company. Like, okay, I get it. Like these extremely profitable companies, but like, I just think that the government on all levels needs term limits. They absolutely do. Like we got to get some new blood in there.
we got to try a little tenderness.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna stop this shit because it's like it's gonna bother me, and we usually much lighter than this. So I am going to say Obi-Wan was fucking fantastic, dog. You still
Uh,
ain't watched it yet?
I've watched all of it.
It's fucking fantastic, bro.
Yes.
And I get it. Like some people, real Star Wars nerds, they're really upset about it. They say that it's extremely weak and it has a bunch of plot holes and stuff like that. Motherfucker, I don't care. We saw Darth Vader get busy a couple of times. You know what I mean? He got busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the ship thing
Like,
was crazy, man.
yeah, but as video gamers, we've seen that before.
Right. I know, but still.
As video game players, we've seen it. They say Obi-Wan redeemed himself in the last two episodes. Nah, dog. I love that whole shit. I love that whole shit. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I take everything at face value. I'm not thinking too deep into this. Like Star Wars was meant for children, bruh. Like my grown ass did not need to overthink
I
this.
mean, there might be like some plot holes, but there's certain fan service things that like play into like if you watch A New Hope right now, you'll see that the model that Luke is playing with is the one that Obi-Wan
Right,
gave to him. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah,
But
it's a lot of things like that, and like we notice stuff like that with the intervening movies like Solo and A New Hope, and not and Rogue One and stuff like that. Like we've seen that, and some people say Rogue One is their favorite Star Wars movie. I get it. If you feel that way, I 100% get you, dog. Um,
it's
I,
one of the best ones. I mean, that's just outside of Star Wars. It's just a good fucking movie.
he said, "I told you that I told you before that the reluctant hero trope had me worried. I wasn't really feeling it in episode 4, but I turned around near the end. I mean, like I said before, the reluctant hero thing is not like, you know what I mean? Like, I get in this situation, it wasn't like, you know what I mean, he was trying not to be a hero for any reason other than it could get him fucking killed. You know what I mean? Like doing Jedi shit and get me fucking killed. So like, yeah, let me go and like, you know what I mean, each other for 10 years. And then when he got busy in that last episode, we see him do some shit we never seen him do. Never.
Right. And you were saying, like, well, we know how this ends, so it's not as on the edge of your seat. But sometimes you're like, I know that they're going to survive, but how are
No,
they going to get out of this?
yeah,
It's kind of like how it happens.
that's the Breaking Bad thing. That's the
Yeah.
Breaking Bad thing, where it was just like, how the fuck are they gonna get out of this one? That's the whole thing about Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Like for real, the whole thing about Breaking Bad. Um, um, and so I understand what Blue is saying. He doesn't like the reluctant hero trope. All right, cool. I fuck with this shit. Like I fuck with this shit hard. That I enjoyed it all the way through. I enjoyed I only had one theory that did not work out.
Okay.
And the theory that didn't work out is I thought that Reva was gonna end up being Lil Ice Cube's actual wife that got turned.
Hmm.
Because Lil Ice Cube talked about his wife and all of this kind of stuff, and it was just like, with the way they've been talking about Reva, it seems like she's new. You know what I mean? They talk to her like she the intern.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? The other Inquisitors talk to her like she the motherfucking intern. So like I thought that when he talked about what happened with his wife and how they tried to hide, but she couldn't hide her gifts forever, and they got to her. I thought that that was going to mean like they got to his wife, they turned her, and she ended up being Reva. It can still be true because Lil Ice Cube and Reva never actually met, right?
Right.
It's possible, but it's the only thing that in the show that I had a theory about, and it never actually quite worked out. And I'm sorry if we spoiling shit, but like, I mean, I told y'all every episode that we had, get on this shit before you get spoiled. Last few episodes, get on this shit before you get spoiled because this shit is crazy and you need to get on this. And we ain't do no real spoilers because let's
Right,
be
right,
honest,
right. Yeah, we didn't do any
because
real spoilers,
because
but
because of A New Hope, we knew how all of this was gonna go, and that's what a lot of people were saying. Like like at the end where it felt like Luke might be in trouble. It was like, well, we know Luke's not in trouble.
yeah, but
Like,
then it's still like, how does he survive that? I mean, you know what I mean? Other than so it's the how.
The only thing is they made sure that he was knocked the fuck out before she decided to turn on her lightsaber. So technically, he's never seen a lightsaber. So in A New Hope, he had never seen a lightsaber.
Right.
You said, so let me get this straight, because you put out a disclaimer. You can spoil it for him. I've told everybody for the last few shows, get up on this shit before you get spoiled. If you get spoiled now, it's because you didn't do what I said. And that's your fault. The last episode been out for over a week, right? It's been like a week, right? It's been like a week, right?
Oh well, I guess the 20. Yeah.
Look. I only give you to the weekend, bro. Only give if it came out Wednesday by Sunday night. If you ain't got it, oh fucking well. I needed to talk about this shit. So fuck it. I enjoyed the fuck out of this. I think Obi-Wan is better than The Mandalorian. I said it.
Well, it's an easy watch. Well, for one, I've noticed when it comes to online shows or shows that are on streaming services, they're not set to a standard of how long the shows can be. Because like Obi-Wan's like one episode is 45, one episode is 30 minutes, one episode is 50 minutes, one episode is just like all over the place. So like...
Okay. So Blue disagrees. He said it's better than Bubba, but better than Mando. Hell no. I think Man, listen.
I think
I, lo-
it's
I love Mando. Mando leans on Baby Yoda way too much. Like, you know what I mean? Like Mando doesn't work without Grogu.
but I it leans on Baby Yoda, but it also leans on like it has a spaghetti western feel, and that's cool. And it's so does it have a Star? I mean, I know Star Wars has a space opera. It's always been kind of a western feel, like especially in the New Hope. But like the
And it's a
Mando just
western. It's a western with a kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's there's things that have a kid that can do without the kid and still do well.
yeah.
Indiana Jones, I'm looking at you. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Jones. Like, you know what I mean? I could do without that little fucking kid. You know what I mean? But like you Mando without Grogu doesn't make it as compelling of a show. And like, um but you see, he said, okay, so he said Grogu makes the show, but Mando's character development was deep and visible. Why does he have a character development? Because of Grogu. He doesn't have this development if Grogu isn't there. The show doesn't move. I'm about to use some. I'm about to use some drumline the movie quotes. The show doesn't move. It doesn't come alive. Grogu is the most important piece of that band. Hands down, Grogu is the most important piece of that band. Without Grogu, he has no character development. He's 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 basically he's Woody. Toy Story. He's a cow. He's a cowboy. He's a toy. He's, you know what I mean. He's just there to sell toys. Mando with no Grogu is no character development. Is no. Thus, you can't separate them because one can't exist without the other. Exactly. Like I said,
So
the
it's Grogu,
show.
Buzz Lightyear.
No, because he can't talk. And also, I heard that movie is terrible. Have you seen Lightyear?
No.
I've never seen any of the Toy Stories. And I know that people say that that's fucking weird. People say that that's weird. But like, for most of my time except for during the summer, I don't have a child here to watch child stuff with.
But Toy
And
Story is like 1995, bro.
yeah, like I was fucking in '95. I didn't give a shit about no Toy Story. What I care about Toy Story? I was fucking.
Well, Woody wanted some of that Bo Peep though.
Okay, so he about that action, boss. About that action, all right. I've seen a few of them. I've seen a few of the Disney movies. I've seen a few of the Pixar movies. Um, yeah, I just I will say I felt I felt like I felt like Soul didn't get its due because it was straight to Disney Plus because of the pandemic. I think Soul was a great fucking movie, man.
Well, and also this is a time to where Pixar started to do like 2 movies a year. Because I think Onward and Soul both come out that year, and I heard more about Onward than I did Soul.
Yeah, Soul is fantastic. I really enjoyed that movie. And like the idea. Yeah, you know something? Did you ever see the article about the guy who knew that they were making a black movie? Is a dude who drives a shuttle for Pixar. He drives people back and forth for wherever they go to make these movies, right? And he said he turns to the guy who I think he's one of the writers or producers, and he said, "Y'all making a black movie, right?" He was like, "What makes you say that?" He said, "Because I ain't never seen this many black people around here." I ain't never seen this many black people around here. So y'all got to be making something black because I've been driving this bus for I don't know how many. You know what I mean? Like I've been driving this bus for a long time, and I ain't never seen this many black people. Never. So he figured out Soul before Soul was actually made. He figured out that they were making a black ass movie. That's hilarious. Like it's like okay, it's kind of like it's kind of like when you're driving in a city that you've never been in, and you realize you're in the hood, and you're just like church, liquor store, church, liquor store. Oh, I'm in the hood. It's that type of situation. But yeah, man, I think Soul was really good. And I think if you haven't seen Soul, go do that shit. Man.
It was funny. I was looking up Soul, and then I got it came up with Soul Men, and I was like, you know what? And we sat down and watched Soul Men.
That's fucked up. Fucked up, dog. That's fucked up. I can't even say nothing to that. Like, it's kind of like that time. Okay, this is one of my hip hop confessions. So, right, when Wu-Tang first came out, right, and when they first came out, their first single was Method Man. So I went to the record store to buy the tape. Right?
Yeah.
Went to buy the 36 Chambers, but I couldn't remember the name of the group. I only knew Method Man. So like I could either buy the Method Man single or I could buy something with Clan in it. Because I knew it was something about a clan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I spent $15.99 on an X-Clan tape. Now let me tell you about this. Like, white people don't know much about X-Clan. X-Clan was these two brothers, and they were.
Hey, you didn't want to ask the dude, or were you embarrassed to?
I'm like a dude, right? I don't want to ask for directions, you know. I'm not asking for directions. No, fuck this shit. I'm gonna figure this shit out on my own. I'm not asking for directions. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen with your boy. I mean, eventually I got it right, but actually I copped the dub first from my homie.
Well, was the single different than the one on the album? Because the one on the album has that real dirty intro.
Yeah, but the thing about it is I didn't want a single. I wanted the tape. Someone told me that the tape was dope. So I bought something with the Clan because I knew that Method Man, the song Method Man was dope. Mm-hmm. I personally hadn't heard anything else from the tape. So I went in thinking something about a Clan. And I ended up with an X-Clan. And let me tell you about X-Clan. There's a reason white people don't know anything about X-Clan. They were very pro-black, very... Now, we'll say that one of the brothers could rap his ass off. And then the other dude, when he talked, it was just kind of... I can't really describe X-Clan to you. Like, I would have to, like, sit down. We need to do an X-Clan song. The next time we sit down to do some more reviews, we have to do an X-Clan song. I have to do this now. Like, so remind me, when we sit down to do some more reviews, I have to pull up an X-Clan song. Just so you understand the biggest fucking mistake I've ever made. The biggest mistake I've ever made.
Well, the Turnstile one is up, but it I did the dispute thing, and it still says review and dispute, or dispute in review. So hopefully it comes through, because I just said, clicked why are you disputing this. I clicked reaction video, click fair use, and hopefully a human sees it. Okay, this is fair use, and it is still money to go to Warner Brothers or whatever, but you can. We just
Yeah,
want you to be able to see it.
I ain't trying to make no money off of it. Like, if you was gonna dispute something, we got one you should dispute. There is one definitely we should, nigga. If you're gonna dispute something, we got one you can dispute, and you know what? We won't even fight it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's one that you can dispute right now. If you dispute this shit right now, you know what? My bad, YouTube. You can have that one. Shout out to Scott.
Well, that one has a comment on it that said, dude was like, I'm excited to see this. He hit the bell to get the notification. He wants to see what we and it won't Scott. So it was a YouTuber that has hit the bell on our video to see our reaction to that song.
You sure about this, dog? I did not see I have not checked the comments and stuff in a while, but bruh, I want to say to you, sir, are you sure about this? Like, we had to have, like, we were only supposed to do a certain amount. We had to do some palate cleansers, in order to get through the rest of our days.
Yeah, we're good. We're good with reactions until the 13th of next month, man. So
yeah, I mean, let's be real. Like, we did a few, and you know what? I'm having fun doing the reactions. So are we doing one next week? I mean, we don't have to.
Yeah, I guess we don't have to, but I mean, we still can if you want to, because they are fun to do.
Yeah, they are very fun to do. And shout out to Blue, who joins us on our reactions. And for some reason, Blue always brings video game stuff. Well, you brought one as a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
And I'm really kind of interested in that. Like,
yeah.
Super into. But I need to play the first one.
Right.
I need to play the first one. But you know, y'all get that when y'all get that. Subscribe to the Geeks Go Right Universe YouTube feed. We're getting a few views on the reactions, and that's very unusual for us. So like, we really appreciate you on those. We appreciate everybody who's taking the time to look at those. Because this has been super fun to do. I've always wanted.
Yeah, when I look at the stats and whatnot, it was like YouTube would be like, "Hey, your views are up 800%." I'm like,
yeah, but like 800% from zero, 800% from one or two, and like that one or two is usually me. But actually, you know, the views on the turnstile thing have been very low.
I don't know if that's because it was in dispute, and maybe since it is still in dispute, maybe it's not getting the algorithm that the other ones did.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's also not one that I see. I've seen people react to that, but it's not one that I see a lot of people do reaction videos to.
Yeah.
Like Polyphia and Lingus and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I knew Lingus was gonna get some views, because Lingus is that type of thing. Like people like me, because I will go find anybody watching Lingus for the first time. I will watch that video. I don't give a fuck. I'll do that shit. So, it's one of those things, and like I said, it's really dope, and I'm glad we got a chance to do it. I've always wanted to do a reaction channel. You know, hopefully, you know, if it ends up being bigger than the podcast, like what it really is right now, I might actually separate it, because like, you know, like the podcast views are very small. Like, some of these have, you know, there's a couple of these that are approaching 500 views.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that maybe, you know, right now it's just people getting it in their feed. If we start getting subs, that maybe people will start seeing the podcast too. That's my hope. You know. Because the podcast is basically the same thing as our reaction videos, except it's more long form, you know.
Absolutely, without Blue. I think I think we should have Blue around more instead of having Blue in the chat. Like, you might as well just be here.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you might as well just be here. Like,
Hey,
he's
Blue, if you, I mean, you got the Discord, jump on in.
whenever you feel like it, though, we good. Um, all right, so are we gonna get into consumption? I mean, we already talked about Star Wars. I mean, we can continue talking about what we've been watching.
Okay. Let me look at my. Let me just bring up a little um, reminder of what I've been watching, because I know I have watched a little bit more than usual. Why is that?
All right, I'll let you run because I'm watching a lot of the same stuff. Like, we're getting like deeper into seasons and things of that nature. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, okay. I watched the first season of Ted Lasso,
I've heard
and
good things about Ted Lasso, but it's one of those shows. It's an Apple show, right?
right. Um, so I have really enjoyed that. I thought that I would enjoy it because it was people, like you said, people liked it, and I'm like, okay, people said it's good stuff. I like good things, so I just thought it would be a good thing that I like. It's a good thing. But I really fucking like Ted Lasso. Like, I didn't know it was going to be as funny as it was, but there was seriously like rewind and like laugh out loud moments in that show, and just parts to where I, me and Amber would both like tear up every episode and also laugh our ass off. Like, it's that sort of like spectrum of emotion type show, and to think that this was thought of as like just like a skit to do on NBC Sports, and then they took that skit and made this amazing show out of it, to where I think it's one of my favorite shows of all time now. Like, it's really
That's
good.
that's that's very high praise.
Yeah.
I've heard very good things about it. I don't know if anybody who's watched it that didn't say that it's a very, very good show.
Right.
I've never, I haven't, in the world of the internet, like, you hear all kinds of varying opinions. Like, there's some people that are just contrarian just to be contrarian. I have not heard anything negative said about Ted Lasso.
Right. And I don't know if the people that would have been negative just haven't seen it. I don't know. But all I know is it's really good, and the second season is out. It's it started in like 2020, and 2021 was last season, and third season is going to be coming out later on in this year. So we haven't got around to watching the second season yet. But yeah, and also some people were like, maybe I wouldn't be into it because it's about soccer. It's not really about soccer. Soccer's there, you know what I mean? But
It's
it's
kind of like okay, so there's shows where you think it's about the one thing, but it's about something else.
mhm,
Battlestar Galactica is one. Like, you think it's about a fucking spaceship, but it's really about the people on the spaceship. The Walking Dead, you really think it's about the zombies, but really the Walking Dead are the people. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like one of those things to where it's like you think about the premise of a show and you think that that's what it's supposed to be about, but really it's about something else.
yeah,
That's the hook. The spaceship or the zombies are just the hook. But once they got you, they're giving you something else.
right. All right. Well, next thing I watched was His Dark Materials.
No idea what that is.
Okay. Well, there was. Do you remember a movie called The Golden Compass?
I remember watching it years ago, and I don't remember it at all. I know I've seen it. I don't remember it.
Well, that movie was based on the first book in a series called His Dark Materials, and that movie was dog trash. But because they, for one, they changed a lot of things from the book to make it less um, anything that's about religion or anything, they changed because the books are very critical of religion. Like the main bad guys are literally like the church. But
Yeah, it's kind of like how they go back and forth on what's the HBO show I watched? Fuck, I can't think of the name of it right now. But
Severance,
basically, no. The one about the people on the other planet and shit.
I don't even know what that
Uh,
is.
I'm gonna pull up HBO Max while you talk. You do
Uh,
your thing. I'm gonna pull up
okay.
HBO.
Well, in in the movie, they changed that, and they also changed the ending to be more happier, which negated the whole second movie or this whole second book to where this for the thing to happen at the end of the book that they changed, the second movie couldn't happen. So unless they changed it completely, right? So when they came back and they got BBC and BBNC, BBC and HBO together. It's like I almost said like BB and CC Winans or something.
No, you got a little too close to BBC and a different kind of BBC. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but yeah, BBC and HBO came together to make the show, and it's been very faithful to the books. Um, Other than a couple of things to make, because books flow differently than shows and movies and stuff, so they gotta make some things out of order. You know what I mean? So just to make it interesting. But the only one thing that at first I didn't know how I was gonna think, there's a character named Lee Scoresby. He in the book is described as a Texan gunslinger, and in their world, Texas is a country. So it's a little different, but it's kind of like a alternate universe. You know what I mean? So it has things, but it's just different.
Right.
And so in the movie, for one, the movie had really good casting. Everybody in the movie is who I pictured when I was reading the book. In the movie, they got dude Sam Elliott, exactly who I was picturing as that character, right? But now they couldn't do Sam Elliott because he's old as fuck now, and he's already done it. So they got dude from Hamilton, and I was like, he's good, but I don't know if he's no Lee Scoresby. Then as watching the show, I really like his take on Lee Scoresby. It's not your traditional Texas cowboy, but he's a really, really good character. And so that's another thing where like don't judge things just on the base of that don't seem like what I read, what I pictured in my mind. You may like it if you give it a chance, you know what I mean? But
Okay, but like here's the thing, like we said all of this. We like, you know, we said all of this when Heath Ledger was supposed to be playing the Joker.
right.
Like, I stopped judging people after that one. Like, we were just like, Heath Ledger is going to be the Joker. Like, really? Is this who you really want for this? Like, are you serious, dude? And you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let everything else flow. It's gonna be what it is. It's gonna be exactly what it is because I'm not judging casting anymore. Like, you know what? Do what you do, dog. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I am very much do as you do. And
uh,
the show that I was talking about is Race Bombers.
oh, okay. But yeah, it's very good. It's another thing to where the last season, which is the closing season, which is the last book to come out later this year, and also Ted Lasso, they're doing the British thing. You know, we have a story. It's a 3-season story, and it's done. We're not going to like stretch this thing into 12 seasons. You know what I mean? Which
I think
is the way to go.
and I think that's another thing that's really good about like the Disney shows, the Disney Plus shows. I think they're taking like the same approach.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah, like this is, some of those shows have been a one-off. It's like we're not making no more of these. Like, you know what I mean? Like we did the show, and
Like yeah, like
you know what?
WandaVision. Like what
Yeah,
else could they do in WandaVision? It's his own thing.
right.
They knew that they couldn't tell that whole
Oh,
story in a
we don't talk about WandaVision. We're gonna get to that when I get to what I watched.
right. Well, I'm just saying, even Obi-Wan. They knew that they can't tell that whole story in an hour and 30 minutes. They needed more than that. They needed 6 hours or whatever.
I hate the fact that it's 6 episodes. Some of this stuff needs to be explored a little bit further than what 6 episodes allow.
So you liked it so much, you want more.
Yes, I want 10 episodes. I want 10. Like, you ain't got to do no more than 10, but I want 10 episodes. I want them to get some more time to really kind of explore some shit. Because here's the thing about Obi-Wan. Like, he ain't used the Force in 10 years. He got in the thick of it. He got his ass whooped. And then he sat down for a minute. Then he got his mojo back. But I needed a little bit of, like, how the fuck did you get your mojo back? And how did you get it to that extent? Because the mojo in the last episode was the most mojo we have ever seen from Obi-Wan. You know what I mean?
It's the most mojo we've ever seen from any Jedi or Sith Lord.
Exactly. Except that's been on the screen. Like,
right, yeah. I get it.
Video game shit. Some video game shit is different.
Yeah.
Like, we seen Starkiller do some shit. Like, you know what I mean? We seen Starkiller do some shit, but that's video
when the
games
controls are doing right. When the
yeah. So we see him do some shit, but like this shit was different. This shit was different. Like, it's kind of like the first time we saw Yoda get busy with the lightsaber. It's like, yo, that shit was dope. Like, people talk about this shit now, like, you know what I mean? People shit. I really hate the people that used to shit on the prequels and now love the prequels because they don't like the sequels. But like,
okay, here's the thing. As I was watching Obi-Wan, the first episode, you don't even need to watch the prequels. You can watch this show and then go into the originals. You don't need to watch the prequels. The prequels, it's not that the stories and what they're telling is bad. It's just how they told it was boring. And if you want more, watch the Clone Wars show.
The Phantom Menace was very boring.
You haven't watched Clone Wars in a while.
Clone Wars had points. And points. I still say Episode 3 is my favorite of the bunch. Period.
Well, that's what a lot of people say. You know that Episode 3 is pretty good, but you still that Cliff Notes version of the first episode is all you need, man.
The Phantom Menace is the first time we saw Jedis get real busy. You know what I mean? Because, like, what we saw in the original trilogy was two old men fighting, and then the old man versus the young dude who barely knew what he was fucking doing. So we ain't get the really real when it came to the fight. Like, the Phantom Menace is when we got real ass fighting. You know what I mean? That's the part that I fuck with. Like, the fighting from the prequels is the lightsaber fight. Lightsaber fight is what I fuck with. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck it. Like, I can't write off the Phantom Menace because it had Darth Maul, dog. Like, what are we talking about here? You know what I mean? Like, Darth Maul, every time Darth Maul showed up in that movie, it was like when Method Man showed up in Belly. When Method Man showed up in Belly, I don't know, you know, as a white person, I don't know if you've ever seen Belly. But let me tell you, if you
I've seen it, but I don't really remember it.
If you ever see the movie Belly again, like, from, you know, just know, every time you see Method Man, some shit's about to happen. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how it was with Darth Maul. Like, Darth Maul, every time Darth Maul showed up, it was like, okay, this shit's about to go down. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I can't write off I don't want to write off the prequels. I enjoyed the prequels because I wasn't a Star Wars fan. In fact, like I said a million times, I watched the original trilogy to prepare to watch
the film. You threw the tablet, Aiden. That's what happened.
Okay. Did they hear? Did they hear that, or am I the only one that's hearing that? Did you mute that for the people? Okay, so he's muted for the people. All right, he's handling. You need a second to handle some business. I'm gonna talk about some stuff. Okay. Um. Are you finished with what you watched?
Let me look one last time. Let me see, and yeah, I think that was it. Like the main three things, because yeah, I watched a lot of shows. Which those three shows, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Okay. So I've been watching. I've been watching. Of course, I've been watching my Arrowverse shows. The Flash is just an obligation at this point. The last episode was alright though. It was bonkers, especially the end of the last Flash episode was like, what the fuck just happened? And going into the finale. So like that's been some shit. Like, and it's been like, okay, I'm me watching the Flash is just I'm just here so I don't get fined. Um, Superman and Lois is fucking great. It is a great fucking TV show. Um, it's just like it's like what I mean. Like it's I mean I have never been like a Superman fan, but I really like Tyler Hoechlin as Superman. Like 100%. Uh, I I really like that show. It is a great TV show. So, and I'm really wondering how they're going to end this season. They got rid of all of the Arrowverse shows. I mean, all of the other shows. They're going to bring in some new ones at some point.
Did you see?
Um,
Did you see what Blue said about Belly?
yeah, Method was the room full of cover from the mess. Yeah, pretty much. Every Yep. Um, and so and then he said he's still behind on Superman. So I'm not spoiling nothing for Superman because I think everyone should watch this. Like Superman and Lois is fucking great, and you should totally watch Superman and Lois. It's just a really well done show.
Well,
And
what's that streaming on?
it's a CW show, so you can watch it on the CW app. And I don't know if it is a Netflix or an HBO after, because some of the Arrowverse shows go to Netflix when it's finished. Some of them go to HBO.
Okay, Blue said HBO Max.
Okay, so it is HBO. I did start. I thought that my daughter would like watching Naomi. We watched the first episode and she was bored out of her fucking mind. So I don't know if that's something that we're going to continue, because she was really bored. I liked Naomi. It was a little bit kiddie because, I mean, of course, because they're high school students, and I feel this is the exact same about Miss Marvel. The only thing about Miss Marvel that has me looking at it differently than Naomi is the Muslim part of it. Like, she's Muslim. She's Pakistani, I believe. Um, and like, there's some things about their culture that's inserted into this. Like the last episode was featured a wedding, and it was about like the wedding the wedding in their culture. I just thought it was. Here's the weird thing, and now it's not really a spoiler because it has nothing to do with Miss Marvel. Um, but the wedding itself, her brother gets married.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they get married sitting down. They're all sitting around in like a semicircle with like the the minister, whatever they call the pastor or the minister or whatever in the middle, the husband and wife on his sides, and then like the like what look like the parents on both sides.
Okay.
But they're all sitting down in a semicircle. And when they asked him, do you wish to take this person as your wife or your husband, blah blah blah, whatever, they just asked him 3 times, and they have to answer 3 times. It's weird. And it's because I mean, it's not weird, but it's just different.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what? So the things about their culture, that I know absolutely nothing about, is the parts of that interest me. The superhero-ness of it, um, you know, it's still the beginning. She doesn't really have a full grasp of her powers yet. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff. So it's not like um uh it's she ain't got there yet. So like there's some things going on, and also like Naomi, these are high school kids. So it's a little bit different as an adult to watch this. You know what I mean? Blue said that he ain't watched it. You know, he's more of a he's more of a is he more of a Carol Danvers, uh Miss Marvel,
Well, that's
Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel, but that's a completely
Well,
different character, though.
no, according to I mean the Carol Danvers has been called Miss Marvel before. So like Captain Marvel is MCU Carol Danvers, but she's been called that before. So
Yeah.
like I don't want to get shit fucked up. And let's also keep in mind that one of the versions of Miss Marvel um got her shit taken, and that's how Rogue was able to fly. Like, you know what I mean? Like the comic book Rogue. I mean, not the comic books, the cartoon Rogue from the X-Men cartoon. The way she was the fly, she was super strong and all of that kind of shit. That's because she took Carol Danvers' shit. She basically did the thing where she touched people and she takes your powers, but for some reason she wasn't able to let go, and she ended up taking all her shit. So she took all her powers, and that's the reason why Rogue in the X-Men cartoon can fly and is super strong and very durable, blah blah blah, whatever. So, so yeah, and then keeping on the Marvel tip, Doctor Strange is on Disney Plus now. Why is this movie called Doctor Strange?
It's called In the Multiverse of Madness.
Why is it called Doctor Strange anything? This movie is about fucking Wanda. This movie, the whole fucking movie, is Wanda featuring Doctor Strange. This movie is about Wanda. And why is it called Doctor Strange? I don't get it. I mean, like, on some level.
Well, because Wanda featuring Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness sounds like a hip hop track. So
I mean, it is like this. The movie is about Wanda. I don't, I mean, like, it is. The movie is heavily Wanda. It's very heavily Wanda, and I understand. I'm not gonna spoil it for nobody. I understand why it's called Doctor Strange and all of that kind of stuff, but that movie is heavily Wanda, and like she should receive co-billing of this movie because it should be Doctor Strange and Wanda Multiverse of Madness. Like it should be called that. And the cameos are fantastic. I'm pretty sure the cameos have all been spoiled. Um,
not for me.
Including, oh, you don't know?
No.
Okay, then I can't spoil it. This one, it's great. It's great. It's like, yo, they did it. Did it. But I mean, a lot of the cameos have been spoiled already. And the thing about this, you would like this movie because it's a Sam Raimi movie and it's made kind of like a horror movie.
Okay.
And you like horror movies. It's made like a Sam Raimi horror movie.
That's cool.
So I think you would like it. So once you watch it, then we can spoil it.
Cool.
After today, y'all got 2 weeks. All y'all got 2 weeks, including you, Chase. Y'all got 2 weeks. I'm putting it out there up front, like I did with Obi-Wan. Putting it out there up front. Y'all got 2 weeks because next episode we talking about this. He said, "Did you hear Andrew Garfield is confirmed to be signed on for for more Marvel Spider-Man movies?" Yes, as he should. As he should. There is no reason why Andrew Garfield, after his performance in No Way Home, should not get more Spider-Man gigs. He was the star of that show. Period. And like for real, Andrew Garfield was so good that it's just like, maybe I was fucked up for shitting on your movies, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like I felt like I did him a disservice but like he did so good in No Way Home that I felt like I did him a disservice. Like, you know what, I did something to him. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what? My bad, dog. You know what? I'm gonna rerun your shit, dog, right now. Right now. It's about to be on and popping. Um so yeah, so is uh I hope that they can bring him back into some more stuff. Um, I wanted to see him in I wanted to see him go into some more Sony stuff like the like Venom and stuff like that. I don't want to see Tom Holland in Venom. I think it's, you know what I mean, like I still, because you still kind of feel like Tom Holland as a kid. Like, you don't want him in like the Venom movies because the Venom movies are a little bit more hardcore.
But they're like,
Than
well, I don't know if they're going to like do a new Venom this MCU, but the Venom movies that are out with Tom Hardy are like
Mhm.
super goofy.
Yeah, they're super goofy, and like I just don't think Tom Holland fits in that.
But those movies aren't MCU anyway, so
Right. Even though he showed up in No Way Home. I mean, it's very brief.
mm-hmm.
Very, very brief. He showed up in No Way Home. I mean, I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations is up on No Way Home, right?
Maybe.
Have you not seen No Way Home?
No. I
You've
watched
not seen No Way.
I watch things in order, sir, and I haven't seen Black Panther, not Black Panther, Black Widow yet.
Black Widow doesn't matter to any of this. Black Widow is out of
But
time.
that's the last thing I've seen. Well, the last thing I've seen is Loki. I haven't seen anything past Loki.
Okay, Black Widow is a movie out of order. The Black Widow movie takes place way
I
back.
know that, but I'm just saying within release, you know where I stand of what I need to see.
Okay. Yeah, Black Widow is a footnote in the MCU timeline. Yes, and I think they did her a severe disservice by not actually like really giving her a proper send off. And it sucks.
So,
It really sucks.
you want to switch over to games? Like what you said you weren't really playing much, but what did you play?
The only games that I really have played that I haven't ever had a time that I've had time to play, I played a little bit of Division,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I have not played very much at all since becoming full time dad. Um, so occasionally my homeboy would be like, "Yo, you trying to play some Division?" And I'll get into some Division, but I have not done anything else. As far as games go, I did, I did, I helped, I helped my, I helped my ex-wife get through something. She was stuck in 2 Point Hospital, and I explained to her how to do something in 2 Point Hospital that she never thought of,
Uh huh.
and she was just like, "Yo, I've been stuck on this shit for however long, and like." You just fixed this shit for me in a couple of minutes, and I can't wait for. I still gotta wait. I think August 9th is when 2 Point Campus comes out, and it's coming out on Game Pass, so I don't have to pay for it. Did I try those in-ear monitors yet? Yes, I have. Um, I don't think the cord is long enough for me to use it for this because my PC is over there. Um, so, but I might try to figure out another situation on how to use it for recording podcasts. But I have used this. I use them at work to plug into my tablet to watch episodes of Orphan Black so that I can do Return to Oswald.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I like them. It's weird. It's weird. It's a weird feeling, but I really like those.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick up some too.
Yeah, those are actually pretty cool.
But yeah.
No cap. So that's the only thing that I've played. I have watched people play it a lot. You know what I mean? I watch people play a lot. So, but I have not played much myself. I actually set up to try to play something. I was gonna play some Tropico because Tropico 6, I think, is on Game Pass. I know I played a lot of Tropico 4 when it was on PlayStation Plus. So I was going to try to play Tropico 6. And I downloaded it and everything, and then just never actually got around to actually playing it.
Tropico just sounds like an off-brand, like juice punch.
Yeah. It does.
But anyway, well,
it's like Tropico sounds like off-brand Tampico. You know what I mean? it's like the fucking it's like Tropico sounds like bootleg Tropicana. You know what I mean? All right, go ahead. Do you think?
But yeah, I played a game I haven't played in a long time because I played it a little bit on Game Pass, but with just basically like maybe 2 hours. But I played Outriders. I played a little bit with the Gaming Vessels guys, and then Blue said he had it.
I've been totally meaning to get back into that because it's crossplay too.
Yeah, it is crossplay, and they do crossplay to where you're not having to sign in to accounts and stuff. It's a code base, so you just give a person your code, they put the code in, and you're in the game. Which I think if more publishers want to do or developers want to do crossplay, that's a cool way to do it. It's not as cool because sometimes you just don't want to have a whole system in an online thing to sign up to, like
Right.
Bungie
Like
Net and stuff.
if I have to leave my console in order to do crossplay, that's not good crossplay.
Right.
If
But
I have to go, if I have to pull up a website and log into some shit and put in all of my different fucking logins for the different consoles and shit like that, just so you'll have enough information to make it so that I can crossplay.
The only thing you might have to do is, like, say if I'm joining your game, I text you the thing, you look at your phone, get the symbol and type it in or whatever, or the code. But that's about it. But it worked good. And I was on PC, dudes were on PlayStation, and it worked fine. And I actually really liked that game when it came out, but it wasn't enough to where I wanted to buy it. Plus, I knew that I wanted to play it with people. Because that's when that game shines.
It's my problem with Outriders.
Okay.
That game is zero fun by yourself.
Right, it is zero fun by yourself. The story
Zero.
is dumb. It's like Sci-Fi Channel dumb, and
Yes.
but how the
It's
powers and the combat synergize with each people
the,
is really good.
the story is like the Sharknado dude wrote this shit on his day off. Like, you know what I mean? It's that bad.
My dude looks like Billy Ray Cyrus with dreadlocks.
Wow.
But yeah, I think that's a fun game, and people kind of slept on
What's
it.
your main?
Well, I mean, what I use is Pyromancer, but I wouldn't say it's my main because that's the only thing I use, so I haven't really tried out anything else. So I wouldn't say it's a main.
I used them all. They had like a demo period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I used them all in the demo period. I personally like the Pyro.
Okay. I heard a lot of people do like the Trickster, but
I I, I like the one, and I can't remember his name. The Rock dude.
yeah, yeah, I heard that one too. I think
Rock
because
dude was
when I
cool.
first played the game, I played it with Captain Mike, and he was having all kinds of trouble on the PlayStation. But anyway, the he was playing that dude, and that seemed how he synergized with my Pyromancer was cool. Like when we were playing, and everything was kind of we were like bouncing between each other's powers. I was like, man, this is really good gameplay, But just having people to play and crossplay does help with that because no matter what you're playing on, you can play with people, right? So, and
Absolutely.
and the next thing I'm gonna say is I remember earlier in this episode you said that Blue was like, I got you, what you want on the Steam sale. He got me. So
No, what it get you?
the well, we picked up Ghostwire Tokyo, which is a game I've been wanting for a while. And then he was like, okay, I know you want the Ghostwire. We got that. But I want you to play these games. You know, they're on your wish list, so I know you want them. But I got Devil May Cry 5, um, Catherine Classic, and Tales of Zestria. Tales of Zestria, I played like 4 hours or something of that on the PlayStation. But I did really like it, but when am I ever on any console? But
Yeah, he told me it was like he's like, yo, what's on your wish list that you want? And I'm just like, bruh, last time I actually looked at my wish list.
well, all your wish list is like builders, so it's like one of
Yeah,
those.
it's been a long time since I looked at my wish list. I'm opening Steam for the first time in a very long time now. Oh shit, I don't remember my password. Oh, that's gonna be fun.
I bet games play better on the Steam Deck than they do your computer right now.
Um, Probably. Well, actually, I mean, a lot of games play just fine on the PC. Like,
Just not the
I just
Division,
don't.
huh?
I just don't like sitting here.
Right. I it's just I really do want to play some Division. It's just getting on the Xbox is like I mean, I know I just feel bad just going in there and getting on the Xbox when I know I have this computer here that is just for me. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I do want to play some Division. I want to play the first one because I actually never actually finished the first story. I played a lot of the first one, but I never actually finished it. And
Ah, you know me. You know I'm down.
yeah,
You know I'm down.
but I was going to play some Devil May Cry 5 on Saturday night, and because I was like going to stream it to the Discord and be like, hey, dude. I'll stream it to the Discord. You can give me some pointers and stuff. And I was already playing some Ghostwire, and he's like, "Oh, no, just go ahead and play that." And dude, I've already put 13 and a half hours into that game. I've really enjoyed that game, and I actually can't really tell you much of what's going on in the story because I've been doing a lot of side stuff, and it's a lot of like Japanese folklore ghost stories and stuff. And some of them are very simple, but some are like really in depth. Like this one about has something to do with a girl, and she got like new eyes, but they were somebody else's eyes, and she was seeing these demons, and and you had to help her and the guys that the eyes come from to like move on and kill the demon lady, and you were in that hospital, and it's like super creepy looking. It's just a big like collectathon, but the collecting is fun. You like want to do it. You know what I mean? So I've been doing that game, and it's just been kind of a very good meat and potatoes game, like a Far Cry or a very Ubisoft, but not as I don't know. That kind of like Ubisoft has a good way of like making a game to where you want to veg out. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's not by Ubisoft. It's by the guys who did like Evil Within and stuff. So I think
Okay.
some people were like, "Hey, I don't know about this game because it's not as like straight up horror like that is. It's just sort of creepy. You know, it's more folklore than it is like Resident Evil. Right. So,
Okay.
but yeah,
I
yeah, I really dig that. And the next thing I'll after I'm done with that is to place that Far Cry 5 or Far Cry 5, Devil May Cry 5. But yeah, definitely thank Blue. I've already thanked him anyway, but thank him again because that was pretty awesome. Just to come in and you know, Christmas in June.
right. See, the thing about me and my Steam is, the thing that I would want are not the things that are on sale. Like, I would want like expansion packs for games that I do play, like expansion packs for like RimWorld and shit like that. But
Mm-hmm.
see, RimWorld is notorious for not having sales. Like the Steam sale for RimWorld is 10%.
Right, because a lot of indie games don't do big sales because they can't afford it.
Right. And so like it's like a lot of that stuff is like I would want that kind of stuff. Like I would love the ideology DLC for RimWorld. It's see, that's the kind of stuff that I personally would care about more than anything else. But I literally have to go through and like look at my wish list and be like, I completely forgot about most of this shit. Like, real talk, I forgot about most of this shit. Is Yeah. And look, one of the things on the Steam wish list he already bought me. But he bought it on GOG.
Oh, speaking of GOG, there is I found a new bot for our free game, so I just called it free games instead of free Epic Games. So the PC Master Race bot will throw out games that are free in other places. So it has thrown out GOG and Steam free things. So if you guys are in the Discord and see the free games thing, you can redeem them. It'll just throw out the Epic twice because I got the Epic one. I just kept the Epic one because if the PC one goes down, you at least see the Epic ones. So
Right. Exactly. I'm meant to tell you, there is a guy. And I know you said in the Discord that you got rickrolled.
yeah.
On my Facebook, there is a guy who did um, something with some, like, I'm guessing there's some sort of like anime characters. It looked like Gundams and shit like that.
Uh huh.
But he recreated the video with, I guess, with stop motion
Uh huh.
with these anime characters. It's not necessarily rickrolling. And also, that dude, um, I just listened to him on Questlove Supreme. I did not realize that that dude has like 10 like surefire top 20 Billboard hits for the era where all of this shit came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only other song that I can really think of is that Together Forever song. Um but which basically it sounds almost the same as Never Gonna Give You Up. But like apparently that dude got like real fucking hits.
Right. Right.
And let's be honest, I also found out that he's a drummer. He never really intended to sing originally.
Hmm.
He's a drummer. Never intended to sing. He's Phil Collins.
Boom. 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 Boom.
So yeah, I really enjoyed that episode of Questlove Supreme. Um, and so like finding out a little bit more about him and all of that kind of stuff was like really fucking cool. But also go to Facebook, look at my Facebook and look at that, because that dude like literally stop motion modeled these like action figures perfectly, because he has the real video in the bottom corner. to show you how well he did the motion capture for this. That he captured the motion of it. Is really fucking cool.
Word, man.
So yeah. You know, and one thing about Rick Astley. Um, it's weird because it's like Brendan Fraser. Like you want to say Fraser, but that's not his name, and like you want to say Ashley, but there's no H.
Right.
Um, but one thing about him is like he did not. He said like one of his somebody like his lawyer or something like that just kept sending him Rickroll videos before he actually knew what it was. It's like, why do you keep doing this to me? He said he just kept sending him these videos, and then once he found out what it really was, he said he started to get upset. But his daughter was the one that was just like, "Yo, it's the internet. It's not about you." And he went, "I guess it's not." And he just let it ride. And like, you know, I think it's cool that like it's kind of like the Kate Bush song, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like the Kate Bush song. Like Kate Bush is for a song that was made in like 85, 86 or something like that, 85, 84, 85, is like a top song right now because of a TV show.
Well, doesn't it show that some of these songs are kind of timeless, that you can put it in a TV show and then all of a sudden they're going to be like, I like that song. But you had to put them in a
Exactly.
thing to where they can see it. But
But it also shows you something else. It shows you the quality of music that you may have missed out on,
right.
because it shows you something that like this song that came out, like I don't know when Never Gonna Give You Up came out.
It's going to be like 87 or something like that. Sounds right.
Let's see. I'm gonna find out. Yep, 87. That shit came out in 87, and it still means something to people. I actually watched a video of him performing that song with the fucking Foo Fighters. That song is gonna live forever. You know, and when he got introed on Questlove Supreme, they said, you know, Michael Jackson pretty much has Halloween covered forever. Mariah Carey pretty much has Christmas covered forever. And technically, he has April Fool's covered forever. And that's fucking dope, man. I think that's fucking dope. So, all right, you got anything else that you want to speak on?
uh, Not that I know of, man. Um, Oh, I mean, I guess I could speak on this one little game because I do think that other people should pick it up because it is like $1.50 right now, or $1.49. It's called Retro Wave, and I think I got it in a humble bundle. I wouldn't. It says it says racing, but I wouldn't say you're really racing as much as, you know, the type of game to where you're in a car but you're just dodging cars and seeing how far you can go, and if you hit a car you just start over and get a high score. Or it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much that type of game, but it's got all these different scenes and they're all like different like kind of 80s aesthetics, and sometimes are like a little bit more realistic, like an actual sunset or you're going in space or whatnot, and you unlock these things, and it has a really cool like 80s type soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when you get more you can buy more cars and stuff. It's just super relaxing and super chill. And yeah, $1.50 for like just like a little time waster racing game that has some pretty cool music and visuals and stuff.
Blue is all about that shit.
Yeah.
Time waster racing games. That's the shit, bro. That's the shit, bro. Um, Yeah, I think we hit it on the head. I think we got it. Um, Again, everyone, go to the YouTube channel, check out our reactions. We have different kind of reactions. We react to, some of it is music, some of it is video game videos, and some of it we're having a really great time. Other times we are just trying to figure out what the fuck we're watching, and it's all just fun.
Yeah.
It's all totally freaking fun, man. So do that. Go check that out. Um, I'm working with my daughter on her podcast. She is going to be starting her own podcast. I haven't figured out if I'm going to give her her own feed yet. I was thinking about doing an anchor because I ain't got to pay nothing, at least initially.
Well, you can't call
Um,
it Pooh Bear because Disney come after you.
no, no, she's not. No, she's not going by Pooh Bear. I don't think she wants all of y'all calling her Pooh Bear.
Yeah, I know.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I don't think that's, you know what I mean. That's something for dad. You know what I mean?
right. It's just
That's something.
it's just for a while there, nobody knew her real name because you always called her Pooh Bear.
Yeah. So, but what I did was I gave her a name. I gave her a name, JC, Jaycii, which is just her initials spelled out,
Okay.
and that's what we're gonna go as her online persona. And then
Okay.
and then we did the thing about the initials, and she said something about the initials, and I can't remember. And I was like, you got to be careful with that because you do have the same initials as Jesus Christ, so like you might want to be careful with that. So you might want to be a little bit cool about that. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna go with. It's gonna, and I can't remember what she said she wanted to title it. But she wants to review TV shows in movies that she watches. She watches a lot of foreign stuff, and she wants to start off with a HBO show called Generations or something like that. So once we get her, like, we did like a little like test show, and I guess since I was there, I kind of fucked everything up. Like, she was acting like a little nervous and everything. So it basically took us 2 hours to record a 2 minute promo.
Oh,
Oh,
speaking of like some foreign stuff, but not really completely foreign. You know, back in the day when you would watch a movie that had some foreign language in it, the subtitles for those parts were like part of the movie. It was like on the screen. It wasn't like a subtitle file that you can turn on and off. It was part of the movie. Not so much anymore. Like we
really?
were watching Amber was watching Kill Bill, and then I had to go and download subtitles off of Subscene and manually upload them to Plex because I didn't put the subtitles up there. So because they'll be talking Japanese and there'll be no way for her to understand what the hell they're talking about because
Pooh Bear watched Kill Bill Volume One for the first time last week. I think we need to get around to Volume Two.
well,
But
definitely
yeah,
because Volume One. I mean, I remember when it come out, a lot of people were like, "Okay, what the hell is this?" When they watched Volume One, and then Volume Two was more. Volume One is more of the intro and just pure action. There's not really much plot in Volume One. It's just pure, unadulterated ass kicking, and then Volume Two tells the story.
yes, very much so. So that's probably something that I'm gonna do with my Pooh Bear. And yeah, and then I'm gonna let her run with her podcast. I'm probably gonna leave the room and let her do it, and we're gonna see how that works out. I know that I'm not gonna put it onto this feed, but I may end up getting her own feed, and we're gonna see how that goes.
Okay.
So keep on the lookout. Keep the lookout for it. Um, I got to get with her mom so we can see about, really, are we gonna set her up on her own feed, or are we gonna put it, like, you know what I mean? Like, are we gonna put it on their feed, like the Digicast feed? Because I don't know if they use that feed still. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be a situation where I got to do some figuring because you know I definitely don't want her to give everybody out her actual Gmail account. So we might have to do a new Gmail account, all kinds of shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but keep on the lookout for Pooh Bear's podcast. Go check out our reactions, um, and I think we're good. We did the thing.
I think we're good too. We did do a thing.
Yep, we did all the things. Um, Peace out to the Warriors, and we'll be back. Well, the podcast will be back in 2 weeks, and but the reactions are still going every Wednesday and Friday.
Right.
So we'll see you then.
Later.
Peace out.